What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 69, and we start today's episode off by seeing that Berahino wanted to play in this game against Tottenham Hotspur away at White Hart Lane, but I did indeed have him on the bench despite him scoring in midweek because, as I always say, the players that play in midweek are usually too tired to play on the weekend and vice versa. So Berahino was on the bench for this game, but it was going to be another most likely early top 4 clash. Of course, in the last one, we were against Spurs' rivals, Arsenal, away in London, and we won that game by 3-2. Well, we're back in London this weekend to take on Spurs, and as you can see, they are in 4th place with 12 points after 5 games. We're in 2nd with 15 after 5, 100% record so far. Want to keep that going, but as we take on Spurs, we do know that this is the side who last year beat us by 5-0, our worst defeat of the series so far. So we knew it was going to be a very, very difficult game, and of course they did have the right back I was desperate to sign in the summer in Yedlin, but instead we got Kyle Walker, of course, their former right back, so at least we had him signing from Spurs. But as well, I want to say too, I've read some comments over the past 10-15 episodes from people asking me when we're going to leave clubs. Seems a bit premature, seeing as we've only just played 2 full seasons and we're only just entering the 3rd. You know, my career modes tend to last a very long time, so that seems quite quick to ask for that. But the answer is, if we're not qualifying for the Champions League come the end of the season, then we'll definitely look into look into moving to a new club. But for the time being, I've got no problems here. I'm liking the progression we're making, and I want to stay here for at least 1 full season more. But anyway, we take on Spurs. The first chance fell there, but Soldado put his shot wide of the post from the one-on-one. And as we worked our way up the pitch from the goal kick, some lovely passing eventually released Brown Ade, and Ade made it Spurs 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, 13 minutes in, the perfect start. And it just goes to show you, Spurs, sometimes, one of their problems is they don't have a really clinical striker, and Soldado hasn't really looked the picture for Spurs since arriving from Spain, and it proves to be in the game as well. He missed a sitter there when he should have made it 1-0. And from that, we went up the pitch ourselves, and we have a clinical striker in Brown Ade. We've got 2 really in Niang and Ade, and they combined there. And by Niang played the ball into Brown Ade, and Ade made it Spurs 0, West Brom 1. So we go in front, and as I said, it was going to be a game which would probably be down to who's got the more clinical strikers. But in the end, Spurs did indeed equalise in the 29th minute, and it came through Eric Lamela. No need for a Bonner for this goal from Lamela. It was a really simple finish, and unfortunately for us, the same problems are persisting, and that is that we are not good enough defensively. And Ben Foster, well, as much as I like our captain, I really do. He's a decent goalkeeper. He makes so many mistakes, and again, from that corner, he should catch the ball with ease. He doesn't. He basically just palms it into the path of Lamela, who has a simple header into the open goal, and he makes it Spurs 1, West Brom 1. So Spurs back on level terms through Lamela. Ben Foster made a really good save there to keep it at 1-1, but on the stroke of half time, as Soldado goes down the right hand side, it's a great chance for Spurs as eventually they pass the ball around and work their cross into the box with Eric Lamela after he takes the ball past Ricardo Rodriguez, and again Ben Foster is diving in no man's land, gets nowhere near it, and thankfully they waste a really good chance as the cross went in there, the header went wide and out for a goal kick. So still 1-1, but Spurs looking much stronger despite us taking the lead. And in the 48th minute, pretty much straight after the restart in the second half, Spurs came through, and Eric Lamela did indeed get his 2nd goal of the game, and he made it 2-1 to Spurs. And sometimes you need luck in career mode, sometimes you need luck in football, and that was definitely one of those moments. The ball fell to Lamela there. My defenders seemed to trip over themselves in the area, and as Lamela struck it, he hit the post, then hit the other post, and it just crept over the line, and it had already gone in before Ben Foster just kicked the ball into the back of the net. So it's Spurs 2, West Brom 1, Lamela with both goals, and it was indeed how the game would finish as well. So Spurs can celebrate. They become the first side to stop us from winning this season, and the first side to beat us as well. The game does finish Spurs 2, West Brom 1, and it was a really disappointing loss, but we just didn't play well enough, and that's just how it is really. Didn't play well enough, and defensively again really poor, and it's my fault obviously. I'm a really poor defender. This year in particular, I cannot defend for the life of me in this year's FIFA. I know quite a lot of you have the same problems as me, as I've tweeted out a couple of times, and you guys have been quick to tell me that you also struggle to defend a lot of times, but really I just cannot defend for the life of me this year. And I would actually like to know as well, so if you could comment and let me know, are you guys having the same problems defending as I am? Because when I first asked on Twitter, the response was yes, defending's a lot harder this year. But I do know there are some people that are actually struggling to score goals this year, and that's not me at all. I can score goals for fun, I just can't defend. But if you could comment and let me know whether you're easier defending, or you're worse off at scoring goals or worse off at keeping clean sheets, let me know, because I'd really like to know if I'm in the minority here, and it is most of you actually struggling to score goals yet keep clean sheets really easily, or whether most of you are just like me and keeping clean sheets is really hard yet scoring goals is very easy. But still, for the second game of today's episode, we travel to Switzerland to take on FC Zurich here. And there'll be a very interesting battle down our left-hand side and down their right-hand side, as the Rodriguez brothers would be facing each other. Ricardo Rodriguez, of course, a former Zurich man before joining Wolfsburg, and now, of course, to us, taking on his brother Francisco Rodriguez, playing down that right-hand side for Zurich. That would be a very interesting battle, but still, we took him on in our second Europa League group stage game, and of course, we won the first one against Feyenoord, so we're looking to make it 2 wins out of 2. We picked a very strong side, obviously a few changes here and there, but still a lot of good, strong players out there. And the first chance would fall to us in the 3rd minute as Victor Anichebe almost headed in and making it 1-0 there in the 3rd minute, but the goalkeeper made the save and it was cleared away. 6 minutes later, we get the ball here with Silva finding Niang, and as we go on a counter here, and by Niang finds Victor Anichebe inside to Niang, then back to Anichebe, then eventually turns his man, plays it back into Mbai Niang, takes the ball around the last defender with Ronaldo chop, got a bit lucky as I went to shoot there, got tackled but won it back, and Niang slid in and made it 1-0. So the travelling fans can celebrate just 11 minutes in, because it is FC Zurich 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, and it is Niang who gets the goal. And it is such a formality, if it's not a day scoring, it's Niang scoring. Honestly, those two work so well as a partnership together, and whenever they're in the side, it's usually one of them getting the goal. So Zurich 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, the perfect start here. In the 15th minute though, Zurich come through themselves, across to the far post is met, but the shot hits the post, and then Ben Foster turns it behind for a corner. So great chance there, we got away with it, and it was still 1-0. And we almost doubled our goal tally here in the 43rd minute. A double Ronaldo chop by Silva, got himself inside, but the shot was blocked. However, it fell to Niang, who smashed it to near post, but the goalkeeper kept it out and kept the score at still 1-0. So still FC Zurich 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, but we were looking much better than the opponents here. And in the 58th minute, as Ricardo Rodriguez plays the ball forward towards Berahino, he beats the last defender, goes through one-on-one, and with his first shot, Saido Berahino makes it Zurich 0, West Bromwich Albion 2. He literally just came off the bench, got himself inside and finessed it into the far corner. It hit the far post and went into the back of the net. So FC Zurich 0, West Bromwich Albion 2. Saido Berahino getting the goal and surely already securing the 3 points with half an hour still left on the clock here in Switzerland. But just a few minutes later, Zurich come through themselves here down the right hand side as they end up playing the ball back towards Francisco Rodriguez, who takes on his brother, plays the ball inside towards his man. Eventually they work their way inside. The shot is blocked. It's not really dealt with in the centre, and the man whose name I just cannot pronounce for the life of me, but I'm sure if you're a FIFA player you know who he is. The guy with 5-star skills and weak foot smashes the ball in and makes it FC Zurich 1, West Brom 2. So defensively again, just like in the first game, not good enough. Just seem to be falling over ourselves and failing to get the danger away when we should really clear it with ease. But it was 2-1. Zurich almost came from 2-0 down to level there, a good chance, but the shot went over the bar, and a few minutes later they're through again as they come down the right hand side. They were trying to exploit the fact I was pushing up with Ricardo Rodriguez a lot, and as they got themselves inside here eventually with a quick pass into the man who scored their goal, the shot's taken and Ben Foster makes a good save and we turn it behind for a corner. But it was how the game would finish, FC Zurich 1, West Bromwich Albion 2, so that loss to Spurs proves to be just a mini blip. We return to winning ways the next game after, a very solid win away from home. The travelling fans can go home delighted with the 3 points in the bag, and it's the perfect start to our Europa League group. 2 games, 2 wins, that's exactly what we like to see, and yeah, a very good start in all competitions so far. We're doing very well indeed. Obviously disappointed to lose our first game against Spurs in that game previous to the Zurich one, but even so, we're playing very well right now, putting in very good performances in the majority of our games, and it's great to see. It really is, and it's just a perfect start. We didn't want a slow start and struggling to pick up points, because quite frankly we need the fast start if we want to prove to the teams in this competition, in the Premier League, in the Premier League mostly, we want to prove to the teams that we are good enough to qualify for the Champions League next year, and we're doing that so far. We're putting in some great performances and it's really nice to see. But the last thing you'll see as we enter October is a squad report. Some very healthy changes here, as you'll see some players constantly improving in the stats, some good improvements for the majority of players. Abita's finally grown a rating rating. Thank goodness for that. All it took was getting dropped from the team completely. EA logic there, but still very, very decent increases in stats for the majority of players. And yeah, we're building a really strong side here, and I really do feel as though this should be the year where we can get ourselves into the top 4. So as I said in the start of the episode, I know quite a few of you do want me to change teams, and that's totally fine, but really I feel we should stay for at least one more season and see what we can do, because I'm thoroughly expecting us to at least be competing for the top 4, because this squad is definitely good enough, and on the basis of the first 6 games in the league, you'd definitely fancy us to be up there or thereabouts come the end of the season. But as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, because it is much appreciated, and of course it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.